So this is something that I have been wanting to do for a long time, but I am just gonna do it now. I want to talk about what kind of advice I would give myself 30 years ago. So I'm 52 right now. So being here at 52, what advice would I give Mary Leonelda at 22? So here goes. So the first thing that I would want to let my young 22-year-old self know is that your life will not always go as planned. And from that, you have to just, take the silver linings and learn the lessons. I think the biggest thing that comes to my mind is, of course, I never planned on having a child with autism or being the parent of a child with a disability, but I am. That was not in my plans. As hard as it was at the time, it's okay. My life is a blessing and abundant, and I wouldn't change anything for the world. So, just know that things will be different than you expected them, but that's okay. Number 2 is skincare. Make sure to take care of your neck and your décolleté, because those things are going to age fast. And I wish that I had definitely taken more better care of that area when I was younger. It wasn't really trendy, or nobody really knew about it. They didn't have, all the neck creams and stuff that they do now, but definitely take care of your neck and deck area. And I'd also, tell my younger self to stay out of the sun. Now, I never was in the sun because I'm so fair. So I would also to tell myself just to wear more sunscreen more often, more consistently, because I do have a little bit of sun damage, on the high, points of my face where, I probably didn't need to if I had just used sunscreen. And again, back 30 years ago, we didn't know that much about premature aging, but we do now. So I would have told myself that. The next thing is that you or I should make exercise a part of my life. I really never exercised or gave physical activity much thought. And now that I'm in my 50s and, exercise is a part of my life. I exercise 5 days a week. I do Pilates 3 days a week and cardio 2 days a week. It would have just been a lot easier if I had always incorporated it into my life, because now at 50, I'll see people coming into a restaurant or just out, and they're like, 60 or maybe 70, they're 10, 20 years older than me, and they're really struggling with their physical health. And just to remember to, if you don't make time for good health now, you'll have to make time for bad health later. So I just wish that I had been just more into exercise. And that goes into my next point. And again, this is, something that I'm just telling myself, and you might not agree with this, and you might not tell your younger self this, but for me, I think my advice would be for myself was when I noticed my weight getting a little bit high, I should have, stepped in and do something right away. Like, don't let your weight get so far out of control that it's just like a really big hurdle to tackle. Like, I wish that when I was younger, when I was 20 pounds overweight, I had done something about it and, taken the time to learn more about nutrition. And, now I'm in my 50s, I have lost 50 pounds. I'm still working on losing more weight. But again, I wish that I had, just paid more attention to it when I was younger, that would have just made it a whole lot easier. I think another thing I would tell myself is just never settle. There are definitely times in my life where I settled for things that I shouldn't have, and just, never settle. If it's not right, it's not right. Know that it's not right. And then don't apologize for not settling. Don't apologize for always holding yourself to the highest standard and holding the bar high for yourself too about what you want and what you don't want. I would also tell myself to go for my dreams and figure out the details later. I think a lot of times in my life I wanted to do something, but I was like, yeah, but this. And, I should have, just done it and figured out the details. Now, one of the things I did get right, like when I wanted to go back to college when I was an adult, I just wasn't sure about the finances. I wasn't sure how I was going to make it work. But you know what? I just did it. I signed up. I jumped into school and I just said, I'll figure it out later. And so that's exactly what I did. I just had to figure it out later. I think the next thing is that, always remember that this too shall pass. Like no matter how bad things are, no matter how bad you feel, just no matter what's going on, remember that everything comes to an end. A crisis, there's a middle, a beginning, and an end. And just as it's unpleasant and not fun, it will pass. Hang in there. It's really not the end of the world. It might seem so at the time. Things are bad, but they will get better no matter how bad something is. So the next thing I would want to remind myself or just tell myself is just about boys. Boys will come and go. And, when I was 18 or 17 or whatever, I thought I was totally in love with this boy and he dropped me and I thought it was the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Boys will come and go, and to, think I'm going to meet my true love partner, when I'm 16 years old or 17 years old or 18 years old is just ridiculous. So, just, date boys, and if they break your heart, they're not right for you. And again, don't settle and don't change or don't think that you're going to change somebody. Don't think like, oh, I can change him and then he'll be perfect. If he's not perfect the way he is and you have to change him, then he's not perfect for you. He's probably perfect for somebody else, but he's not perfect for you. So just be able to recognize that. And, if he doesn't want to be with you or he wants you to change or you need him to change, it's not right. That's okay. There's other boys. Move on. It's not the love of your life. I guarantee you. Let's see. I think another thing I would want to let my younger self know is just to be myself. Just young Mary, just be you and emphasize what you're good at and don't always worry about what you're bad at. And I think I have some great skills that I'm really good at and have really gotten me far, but at a younger age, I did not really appreciate them. So just appreciate, who you are, what you're good at, and emphasize those types of things. The next one is, and this one is a hard one, but you know what? Your parents are not going to be around forever. There is going to be a time that your mom and your dad, or my mom and my dad, are going to die. And they are not going to be around forever. And remember that, because that is, for me, Mary at 48 when I lost my mom, I think I was 47 when I lost my dad, it was devastating, like one of the most devastating things in my life. And I miss them every day. So I wish, somebody had reminded me at 22, that your time with your parents are limited. Maybe you've got 20, 30 years left with them. Maybe you've got 40 years left, but your time is limited and there will come be a day when they are not around anymore. So just appreciate them and love them. And yeah, they might be annoying sometimes and, but you'll miss that. So take that to heart. I think another piece of advice I would like to give my 22-year-old self is, start saving. If I had the opportunity for a 401k or to put some money away in savings, definitely. I think for young people now, if they actually have the opportunity to put into a 401k and get it matched, just put something away, $10, $20, and you'll be surprised, by the time you're 40, you'll have like a little nest egg. It's slow and steady, but start saving, no matter what it is, but just start. I think something I wish I had known or somebody had told me was just to always be true to myself and trust my gut. And there are a lot of times in my life where, I felt something was wrong or off, but I just went with what other people said and what other people thought, kind of thinking they're smarter than me. And then in the end, I was right. Like, it wasn't really the right move for me. It might have been for them, but it wasn't for me. So, if I can't be true to myself, I can't be true to anybody. So I think the next thing that I would definitely want to tell my younger self is that bad and unpleasant things are going to happen in your life, in my life. They are going to happen, Mary. You are going to have some bad and pleasant things happen in your life, but just remember that they will make you stronger and teach you lessons, and be thankful for them. Don't, when you come out of something, you can always say like, okay, I learned a valuable lesson and I'm a stronger, better person for it. So just remember that when you're going through something terrible, that on the other side of it is a stronger you with more experience. I think I would want to start asking myself at a younger age is, what do I want my legacy to be? What do I want from my legacy? What kind of footprint do I want to leave on the world? And start thinking about that, because I really didn't truly start thinking about, what my legacy was until after my parents died. And then I realized, well, first of all, I'm their legacy. So everything I do is a part of their legacy. And of course, everything my children do is a part of my legacy. But then just what other things do I want to do with my life, and what do I want my legacy to be, and start thinking about that. So now, there are a couple things that are just different now than they were 30 years ago. So I wanted to add a couple things on to other people, not just the young Mary who's listening, but to some other young women out there who are watching this, and just give them a couple pieces of advice that I would definitely hope that somebody has given you, but if not, I'm going to give it to you. So the first thing is I think that as a young woman, you need to be really careful of social media, and just remember what's up on the internet is up on the internet forever. What's out there is out there forever. And just think about the pictures you post. It's always fun to post really cute pictures of yourself and cute clothes and with drinks in your hand and bikinis and this and that, but that's the image the world is going to have of you for a long time. So someday, while it's fun to be just showing all the party pics now, those party pics are going to be up there forever. And someday, you might want to be a senator someday. And these pictures might come back to haunt you. So just be careful and make sure you're always putting your best self forward. And while your self in a string bikini might be what you think is the best part of yourself at 22, if you're thinking that, you're selling yourself way short. So just be careful of that. And then another thing is that I would just warn young women, and I'm always just surprised when this happens, but don't take nude pictures of yourself. If you do decide to take nude pictures of yourself, make sure your face isn't in them, because you might send them to somebody who could, get angry at you and release the pictures, or somebody's phone might get hacked or something. But again, then those pictures are going to be out in the world of you forever. So I would just be really careful about that. And, just make sure you're protecting yourself now and in the future, because something you something, just silly and careless you do when you're 22, really could have bad repercussions when you're 40 and, you're trying to do something and something silly from your past comes up and bites you in the ass. And so it's not fair, but it's just the world that we live in. So just really be careful of what you put out there on social media, what you say, what you do. Make sure it's the version that you're going to want to see of yourself when you're 40, and you're going to want your children to see and your future husband to see. And, again, just make sure it's the best version of you. So that's it. That's all I wanted to tell myself 30 years ago, and me now being 52 in the future, things I wish I had told myself or somebody had told me when I was 22. I hope you found this helpful. If there's anything I've forgotten, please add it in the comments. I'd love to hear what advice you might have given yourself if you had the chance to, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Let's hear it all. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And you guys have a fabulous day.